Thanks for watching. I'm Margot Kimberg, and this is In the Spotlight, a closer look at a crime novel. Dystopian crime fiction can give a different perspective on the world and our lives in it. It can get you thinking, and it can be adventurous and a lot more. Let's take a look at a dystopian novel today and turn the spotlight on Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower. In a dystopian near future, 18-year-old Lauren Oya Olamina lives with her family in a walled neighborhood in Southern California. Climate change, corporate greed, and wealth inequality have made life miserable for most people. Food, housing, and things like clothing are expensive, and poverty is rampant, to the point where people lucky enough to live in walled communities usually don't leave them, because the poorest people on the outside of the walls have nothing to lose by attacking and killing them. The police are apathetic at best, and other services are either non-existent or at a bare minimum. Some people do stick together and help each other, but there are plenty who've adopted an everyone for himself attitude. Lauren remembers when things were at least a little better, but she's learned to adapt. In fact, she's developed a way of thinking, a spiritual belief, if you will, that helps her make sense of what's going on and how to deal with it. Lauren has hyperempathy, which means she feels and senses what others feel and sense. That makes it difficult when someone is hurt or killed, but she knows better than to show that weakness. One terrible day, the walls of Lauren's community are breached, and the neighborhood is ransacked by desperate people who kill, steal, and burn down houses. She manages to flee and soon joins forces with a cousin and a few other people she knows. Their plan is to make it safely to Northern California, Oregon, Washington, or even Canada, if they can get that far. It's not going to be easy, though. Without the safety of a walled community, the group is prey for any number of people. As they move along, other people join their group and they continue to head north. Along the way, Lauren shares some of her beliefs with the group. Some even call it a cult, although it's not the sort of cult you would think of when you hear that word or read the lurid news stories. Still, she shares her way of looking at life and planning for the future, even as the group faces terrible risks as the world seems to be falling apart around them. So, what are the elements in this novel? What keeps it going? This isn't a typical crime novel. You've probably been able to sense that this isn't one of those novels where there's a crime or a series of crimes and someone solves them. There are larger crimes against anyone who's not wealthy, and there are many crimes such as murder, arson, and rape that occur throughout the novel, but no one really investigates them. And that's another element of the novel. This is dystopian fiction, so it's not a light novel. There's an almost casual cruelty about many of the crimes. The book isn't gory. Rather, it's the attitudes towards the crimes that make the book quite dark in places. Lauren finds that hard to cope with as she deeply feels the death and squalor around her. Still, I can say without spoiling the story that all is not completely lost. The story is told from Lauren's perspective, first person, mostly past tense, in journal form. So as she writes up her journal, we follow along as she makes sense of what's happening around her, of her own hyperempathy, and of what is needed if humankind is to survive. She's intelligent and perceptive, and although she has a sense of empathy, she also has what you might call a hard shell, because that's the way to survive. In ways, she's older than her 18 years. The Parable of the Sower is the dystopian story of a group of people who are doing their best to survive in a world that is rapidly becoming unlivable. It features a bleak California landscape, a motley crew of travelers, and a protagonist who has a vision of what could be. This has been In the Spotlight. I'm Margot Kimberg. Thanks for watching.